Hi, I am Eduardo Rote and this is From Caracas. Today we have Professor Igor Fusser of International Relations of one of the main universities of Brazil. And we're going to talk about the election of last Sunday and the perspectives. Hello, Professor, welcome.
Hello.
Who were the main candidates in these elections?
Well, there were 10 candidates, but actually 3 important ones. The current president, Dilma Rousseff, the main right-wing candidate, Aécio Neves, and a third candidate called Marina Silva, an environmentalist who is member of the opposition as well.
Now is the actual president Dilma Rousseff and Mr. Neves.
Neves, yes.
They are running for the runoff.
Exactly.
It's going to be in the 26th of this month.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, exactly.
Exactly. The question is where the votes of the third candidate of Marina Silva, where these votes are going to go?
That's the big question. The president, Dilma Rousseff, have to win 20% of the votes given to the opposition yesterday. And nobody knows yet where those votes will go to. It will be an uphill battle for her because the total of the opposition votes is bigger than the government votes. But nobody knows, for instance, who Marina Silva will endorse, and if she will endorse one candidate or she will become neutral in the runoff. It's one question. The other point is the runoff is somehow a different election. The campaign will start from the beginning. Both candidates will have to remake their speech, their message to the public, to the constituency. And it will be a face-to-face, head-to-head fight. In this way, the questions will become clearer than in the first turn. Because in the first turn there was 10 candidates, so everything is quite confusing, too many subjects at the same time. And now it will be easier to the Brazilian public to know the differences between the 2 main candidates, the 2 only candidates in the runoff.
Now this is going to be a polarization of the options. The people are going to vote for the right wing or for the left wing.
Exactly.
And there's a very important component is the evangelics, the Protestant groups in Brazil. They are 21 million, I think.
Exactly.
And they endorse Marina Silva, some of them.
Most of them.
Both of them, yes. And where do you think these votes are going now?
That will be a chance to the President Dilma to conquer a part of these votes. Marina is an evangelical believer, and that's the reason for many people voted for her. But in the runoff, there will not be a religious question point in the center of the election. So it will be easier to Dilma to win these electors.
Well, and internationally, what it means, the options? These 2 different options. Brazil is not very agile, not very fast. It's like an elephant. It's very strong, heavy, and wise. What Brazil decides politically in the foreign policy is very important for Latin America. In the case Navas wins, what's going to be the change in the foreign policy of Brazil?
I think the biggest differences between the 2 candidates, Dilma Rousseff and Aécio Neves, are in foreign policy. To put it in simple terms, Aécio is totally pro-United States, and Dilma Rousseff is in favor of an independent foreign policy. So if Aécio, who is the right-wing candidate, wins, Brazil will probably to align its foreign policy very closely to the United States. And if Dilma wins, Brazil will keep its current foreign policy favoring regional integration, a multilateral context in world relations, in favor of BRICS, UNASUR, Mercosur, and so on. There will be that's the difference.
Dilma Rousseff talked about the ghost of the past in his election speech after the polls. What she was referring to? What is the ghost of the past when in Brazil?
She was talking about the neoliberal policies of the decade of the 90s, when the same party of Aécio Neves ruled our country. At those times, Brazil followed strictly the Washington Consensus policies. Brazilian government did everything the IMF told it to do, and the result was a big rate of unemployment, the biggest interest rates in the world, more than 45% of the interest rate, recession, a terrible recession, and Brazilians remember those times as very hard periods.
So, this heavy stuff will pull down Neves in the election if people remember that.
Yeah, on the
In the
other side,
polarization,
yeah,
yes.
but on the other side, many electors are too young to remember those times, you know, and so people take for granted the social policies of Dilma and Lula's, what's Dilma's predecessor in the same party, the Workers' Party. So, for instance, Brazil nowadays have a very small unemployment. The rate of unemployment is down from 20%, from 12% to 5%. But people don't remember the old times. So people think about it as a natural thing.
Yeah.
But it's not natural. It's the result of public policies. You know, the wages increased during Lula and Dilma's governments. But despite of it, the wages are quite low. So people always want more, and they feel unsatisfied, and it has moved a part of them to vote for the opposition.
Yeah, so to compare is not a very good weapon in this election, to compare, because the young people don't remember. But as you say, it's going to be a battle from the beginning and in a very short time, 3 weeks,
Yeah,
to win the minds of the people.
hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds of the people, yes. One of the questions that comes in this Brazil election is the importance of the results for the BRICS, because Brazil is the main partner of the BRICS. And what's going to happen in the case Navas wins? With what happened with the BRICS specifically?
Well, whatever the results, Brazil will continue to be a member of the BRICS, of course. But Brazil, in the case of Aécio Neves' victory, will give less importance to the BRICS. BRICS is an initiative very important for the left-wing government as an alternative to U.S. hegemony in world affairs. No? But if Brazil change its alignment, BRICS will have less emphasis, less importance on the point of view of Brazilian government.
Okay. Well, Dilma Rousseff said that second terms are always better because he's running for the second term.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's completely true, but what will be the changes she has to do in the social area to attract, in this campaign, to attract the electors,
well,
the electorate?
Yeah, 3 weeks is quite a short time to change the actual policies. What she will have to change is her speech. If she wants to win, she will have to highlight much more the social gains of her government, the improving of the standard of life of the poorer classes, the majority of Brazilian people, improved their life conditions. Poverty is reduced. There was not the problem of hunger anymore. Brazil eliminated practically hunger. Brazil has improved education, health at a certain point, housing. The emphasis will have to be very clear in concrete subjects, like education, health, wages, employment, these sort of things. So she can be able to make a difference if she highlights these kind of subjects.
So the social area of this. It's going to be changing in the case of Navas winning for the industry of Brazil, because the industry in Brazil is very heavy. It's heavy in the general economy. They used to call it Brasil do hits pulai, or Brasil que deu justo. It will change with Navas,
well,
the industrial policy of Brazil.
What is happening now in Brazil? The business classes are divided. There's one part of them who wants to integrate Brazilian economy to American one, to European Union as subordinate partners. And other parts of the industrialists, the business class, wants more autonomy. If Aécio Neves wins, Brazil will opt for free trade approaches, much more liberal one, who will affect heavily the possibilities of autonomous development in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same case that in the rest of Latin America, the two options between neoliberal
and developmentalism.
In development of the sides and the union with the rest of the countries. But it's 3 weeks. Do you think there's possibilities of seeing this kind of unrest, urban riots and things like that, like happened before the games?
No, not in the next 3 weeks.
No?
In the next 3 weeks, everybody will be concentrated in the elections,
okay,
the electoral debate. But what we can preview is that if Aécio Neves wins, it's sure that will be big social unrest and political unrest in Brazil next year, because Aécio already has said that he will adopt what he called austerity policies. You know, he will cut public expenditures, public
budget. Yeah.
budget, yes. He will shorten the wages and this sort of things. So all trade unions and popular movements, peasants and so on, will fight very hard against this sort of neoliberal policies.
That makes Dilma Rousseff option, the peace option also.
Yeah.
Tranquility and peace, yeah, that's it.
Somehow she is better to the business class than Aécio Neves, because Dilma has the support of the trade unions, of a big part of social movements, and it guarantees a sort of tranquility.
A social pact. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, a social pact.
Yeah. Well, now she has to play this social pact and the possibilities of offering a better wage, improvements in the social agenda. But in 3 weeks, it's going to be a close race.
Quite
for the
close.
runoff.
They've got about 50% of chances each of them. Yeah,
It's very close.
It's quite equal.
How many times you have votes in your life in Brazil as a Brazilian?
Many times, each 2 years.
Each 2 years.
Yes, regularly, each 2 years.
For the parliament, for the
yes, there are 2 elections in Brazil. One that's a municipal elections to mayors and councilors, city councilors, and another election that happened yesterday, and we vote for everybody at the same time: president, governors, senators, deputies. I don't know if it's good because people mix. So nobody, for instance, nobody is able to remember who I voted for deputy, who I voted for senator the last election.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the local questions mix with federal ones. It will be better to have more elections like in Venezuela, and so presidential elections, parliamentary elections, municipal, separate, yes. This way, it's possible to focus the questions deeper. No?
Yes, and it's good for the people to learn what they are doing.
Exactly.
Yes, it's not this. It's kind of a big party, electoral party. Yeah. But how many people vote in this election in Brazil?
Well, 150 million. Almost.
50.
Almost. 140, between 140 and 150 million people were able to vote, and about 10% didn't vote. Voting in Brazil is mandatory.
Or was? No, not anymore.
It's
mandatory now.
It's mandatory. For instance, yesterday I was here in Caracas, so when I will be back in Brazil, I will have to an office and write a paper justifying
why don't you vote?
The reason why I didn't vote. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
Otherwise, I will have to pay a fee.
Oh, interesting. And even like that, 10% don't vote.
Yeah.
But 150 million people voting is a lot. That's what they say was the 4th election in figures in the world. It was really quiet. No incidents, very insignificant.
Yeah, but every election is this way in Brazil. Very calm elections, few incidents. Elections are always peaceful in Brazil.
How old you have to be to vote in Brazil?
Pardon?
How old?
From 16 to 18, you have the right to vote, but you don't have to vote. No?
Yeah, it's not mandatory.
Up to 70.
Oh,
up to 70. People older than 70 don't have to vote. They vote only if they want to.
Interesting.
So between 18 and 70, everybody has to vote.
Looks like a more democratic play and more people playing it like than in the States, for example, United States.
Yeah.
United States is a second degree, and people are not very interested.
Nobody can say that has nothing to do with what was happening in Brazil. If they don't like the politicians, okay, but they has chosen them.
Yes.
You know?
Okay. Well, you don't vote this time because you were in Caracas, but you're going to vote in the runoff.
I'm going to vote in the runoff, of course.
I won't ask you for who, but I really wish the Brazilian people a good result for these elections and a good result for Brazil and for all Latin America. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is interview from Caracas in Telesur.